All right, we're diving into something that, well, if you've ever stayed in a hotel, this one's for you. We're about to peel back those crisp, clean sheets and expose a really grimy secret that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
So let me just ask you a question right off the bat. What do you think is the single dirtiest, most germ-covered item in your hotel room? Take a second. What comes to mind? The toilet seat? Maybe the doorknob? Those are all really good guesses, but the real answer? It might just make you think twice before you start flipping through channels.
Okay, to really get to the bottom of this, we first have to talk about what I like to call the illusion of clean.
You totally know that feeling, right? You walk into your hotel room for the first time and you see those perfect vacuum lines on the carpet. You get that whiff of cleaning spray in the air. Everything just looks perfect. It feels clean, it feels safe. But that pristine appearance, yeah, it's hiding a tiny little secret.
Every good detective story needs a main suspect. And in our little microscopic crime scene, we have found our prime suspect. And odds are, it's sitting right there on the nightstand next to the bed.
The material for this explainer calls the TV remote a digital petri dish. And honestly, that phrase just hits the nail on the head. Think about it. It perfectly captures this idea that the one thing you grab without even thinking is actually this thriving colony of germs, a collection from literally every single person who stayed in that room before you. And, just so we're all on the same page, a real petri dish is what scientists use in a lab specifically to grow bacteria. So when we call the remote a petri dish, well, it's because it's pretty much the perfect environment for all sorts of nasty germs to grow and multiply.
So how in the world does this even happen? I mean, why the remote control of all things? Well, the answer is kind of fascinating, and it's all about the science of grime.
It all boils down to something called the poop particle theory. And yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. Here's how it works. Step 1, someone flushes the toilet, but they leave the lid up. Step 2, that flush creates this invisible cloud, an aerosol plume of microscopic particles from, inside the toilet. Step 3, this plume can actually travel pretty far, and it eventually settles on all the surfaces in the bathroom and even out in the main room. And here's the real kicker. Step 4, the bacteria in those particles love plastic surfaces. They can survive on plastic for a surprisingly long time. And that brings us to the crime itself. Let's trace the journey of these germs from that plastic remote control directly to you. So let's follow this chain of contamination. It's shockingly simple. Step 1, you get to your room, you drop your bags, and you flop on the bed and grab the remote. Boom, you've made contact. Step 2, all that bacteria instantly transfers right onto your fingertips. Step 3, later on you're not even thinking about it and you rub your eye, or touch your mouth, or just scratch your nose. And just like that, step 4 happens. Those germs have found a super easy direct highway right into your body. So we've seen all the evidence, we get the science now. It's time to deliver the verdict. But more importantly, let's talk about your defense, what you can actually do about this. So let's wrap this up. Why does this even matter? Well, first, remember the remote isn't just one person's germs, it's a collection point for maybe hundreds of past guests. Second, we now know that plastic is basically a great little home for bacteria, helping them survive. And third, all this creates a direct path for germs straight to your face. So the verdict is in, the remote control is a major hidden microbial hotspot.
Look, the goal here isn't to make you paranoid about travel. It's just to be a little more aware. So the crucial point is to just think before you touch. And here's your super simple, really powerful defense. Just pack a sanitizing wipe in your bag. A quick wipe down of that remote as soon as you get in the room, that can make all the difference.
And that really brings us to our last question, the one I'll leave you with. If the humble TV remote is this dirty, what else are you touching without even giving it a second thought? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in for this explainer.